Howdy folks, welcome back to Black Sheep Meadow. I'm Brent.
And I'm Amber.
And we got a busy one for you today.
Not just a good one?
A very busy one.
Busy one.
Not just a good one, a very busy one.
Just a busy one.
So we're in Central Texas. We had a lot of new subscribers this past week.
We did. Thank y'all. We jumped up a whole bunch of subscribers this week.
So for those of you that don't know, me and Amber for the year 2023 are attempting to grow 80% of all of our own food. And I've done some mathematical equations on that to figure out how we are going to achieve our goals.
Yep.
With the average person consuming somewhere between 3 to 5 pounds of food every single day, for our judgment, I left that a little bit on the high side. So I considered 5 pounds of food every single day for the two of us, or per person for the two of us, which leaves us at 3,650 pounds of food for the year. And we are attempting to produce 80% of that. Mm-hmm. So that leaves us just shy of 3,000 pounds worth of food we're looking for.
Right. And as the weather is coming and as the crops are starting to come in, he's not feeling very confident or overly confident that we're going to hit it.
We've had a few setbacks, which we're going to discuss here in just a minute, especially with our corn crops.
Corn crops came in under, but some of that you can't prepare for you try to prepare for everything, but you can't predict the weather.
Well, you can't predict Mother Nature either with natural pests and... animals that come in and almost wipe out an entire crop overnight. So
yes, that's
going back to the 4,000 pound, where I'm targeting 4,000 pounds worth of food because obviously out of the food that we're going to eat, we're not eating potato skins or eggshells or corn cobs.
There's some natural waste that comes in there, and instead of trying to weigh the food on the plate, we're trying to weigh the food that we harvest. So there's some of that you can't crack the egg and weigh it, and so you have to kind of account for the fact that some of what you're weighing is not going to be consumed. Yeah,
we've obviously already dehydrated a lot, and we're going to rehydrate it whenever we cook. So but that's the math that we're going off of, and like I said, we've had a few setbacks. The other thing with that is we could obviously grow 4,000 pounds of potatoes, but that's not...
We don't really want to eat 4,000 pounds of potatoes. So, you can.
So in this goal, I've self-managed to where we are growing things that we actually eat in a wide variety, and in a form that we would actually eat them. So once again, we're not growing 4,000 pounds of potatoes. We've actually harvested just shy of 500 pounds of potatoes this year, I believe. So that comes out as whole potatoes before they're skinned. That comes out just over a pound of potatoes per day for the both of us, which sounds kind of odd, but you really don't realize, hash browns for breakfast, French fries for dinner, that adds up really quick. So, but potatoes are easy to preserve.
They're somewhat easy to preserve. They can really well. I don't mind canned potatoes. They can really well. They freeze. If you blanch them, they'll freeze really well, just like you buy French fries frozen at the store. You can do that at home. It's not rocket science there. They actually have a pretty decent shelf life just as a whole potato, too.
If they're kept in the right climate or the right conditions, no light, cool temperatures.
If you're fortunate enough to have a root cellar, that's very helpful.
Maybe one day we'll...
One day,
I've been talking about getting a backhoe for a long time.
We don't need it.
So, but we got a few things going on today. We want to show y'all, we've already harvested our sweet corn crop, and I believe we got 98.5 pounds of sweet corn off of that. That's on the cob. So a lot of that's already gone to preservation. A lot of it's in can. Or you jarred it?
Canned it. I've canned it. Preserved a lot of it. Some of it I froze.
We're going to take y'all over to our field corn here in just a minute, and our field corn this year has done phenomenal. But we had a major setback last week with some wild animals that came in and took out a very large portion of it.
Very fast.
Caught me off guard, too. I mean, me and the dog one night almost could have got taken out pretty quick. So we'll go over that in a minute.
We've got that. We've got the heat is starting to set in. Yes. I think next week we've got 90 plus... 99 degree
I believe
days?
So in about 4 more days, the projected forecast for the next 10 shows 98 to 99 degrees every single day, which most of our crop is going to be out. Yeah.
Some of our crops are really going to struggle with that, so we're going to try to put some shade up this weekend for some of our crops to try to prolong them as long as we can.
And this year we are actually splitting a half of a steer with your parents.
Yep. So we'll
And
get a half a steer.
It's going to be ready at the processor probably next week sometime.
Next week or the following week. I'm not exactly sure what day.
Which is going to be big, huge busy for us because I plan on canning all of our beef stew for the year.
We'll do beef stew. We do quite a bit of meals in a jar. So for those quick nights when you're coming home late from work and you just want something that's nice and quick and easy, those meals in a jar are awesome. We do beef stew. We do taco soup in a jar, which is my favorite. I think your favorite is beef stew.
Yep.
My favorite's the taco soup in a jar.
And we'll do like a variety of soups.
Yeah, we are very big on soups. So we have that coming in the next week or two. Then this coming week, we have 4 turkeys, 6 laying hens, and 20 more meat birds.
Correct.
All scheduled to be delivered in the same week. I'm not sure what we were thinking.
Nah, I think we'll be fine.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll be just fine.
It's going to be a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of baby animals running around for a minute.
But we're transitioning a lot from like the garden stuff because the heat's going to take a toll on that. We have to get the turkey coop finished.
We have a lot of work to do still on the turkey coop.
We've improved quite a bit on that, which I guess after we go over our field corn, we'll go over the turkey coop as well. Show you the progress on that.
Show the, you can tell that a lot of parts of our garden, you can see where the heat is starting to set in. So this video is just kind of an overview of where everything's at and where we're all going. It's transitioning into summer.
So let's get them out to the corn and show
You want to go to the field corn first?
Yeah, let's go to the field corn and let's show the destruction that we had this past week.
All right, we'll take you out there.
All right, so here we are at our field corn patch. This is a Cherokee dent corn, and I think this area is something like 20 by 150.
Somewhere around there.
And I believe this is like the second or third. This is probably the 3rd year that we've grown this corn. I've grown it at least 2 years in the past. And it makes for some very tall stalks. Some of these stalks further in the back are well over 10 foot. I mean, I'm 6'2",
I was gonna say, if you can tell just me standing here, how tall this corn is, it's very, very tall.
So about last week, I started coming out here and I started noticing some of the taller stalks laid over with half the ear corn eaten off.
And that is very typical of raccoons.
Very typical of raccoons. So what'll happen is that raccoon will come out here, he'll start to climb this stalk to get to that ear of corn, and then the corn, obviously the stalk's too heavy at that point, the stalk will fall over. The raccoon will typically eat just one side of the corn and move on to the next plant.
They're very wasteful creatures.
So I come out here about 1 o'clock in the morning, the dog growled, she was out on the front porch, and I said, okay, I heard the leaves of the corn rustling, and I made it to this exact point with the little 22 that I keep underneath the shed. And not 5 foot away from me, as soon as I turned the flashlight on, not 5 foot away from me, there was like a 200-pound hog that walked out of this patch. And we are no more, I mean, maybe 100 foot away from the house.
Yeah, we're not very far at all. And I'll get you in here, we'll do a little video inside. You can see where he was being destructive.
Yeah.
He's a lot more, I don't know if he's more destructive than the raccoons, but he definitely hoovers through a little bit more than the raccoons do. The raccoons just aggravate you because they don't even eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
The hogs will come through here and they eat everything.
So, but I mean, this is a perfect example. We're targeting 80% of all of our own food by weight. And if we were really dependent on that, this would be a huge setback. It
would be, because I don't know, did you estimate how much he's destroyed or between them have destroyed?
Well over 40% of this crop has been damaged to the point where we're not going to recover. Now, I think since we've gotten rid of the hog, I believe now that the rest of this is going to mature just fine. We're still looking at it maybe another 3 weeks. The summertime heat's going to come in and actually kill these plants off, dry them out.
So the plant
ears, showing this ear of corn right here.
The plant will turn brown. The ear of corn, the tassels will turn really dark brown, almost black. And then once the corn is fully mature, it'll actually fall down and hang down. And now you know it's time to harvest. So that's kind of there's your corn tip for the day.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how you know. So our corn is still, that one over there is still fertilizing. It's still bright yellow. This one's obviously a little bit closer. So we've still got a few weeks before this is ready to harvest. Yep. And
but we're still going to collect some off of it. It's not a complete loss. So.
And what we plan on using this for things like cornmeal,
fish batter, and then a lot of it is still going to go to our own chicken food. We're going to do a chicken food video here coming up. I got a recipe that probably follows Joel Salatin's recipe really close. It's a little off. But
we're trying to modify it a little bit for our area.
So we'll get y'all on a homemade chicken feed video.
All right.
So let's go check out our turkey coop, because I got less than 7 days to get this thing ready and I am not there yet.
Luckily they come very small.
All right, so here we are at our turkey coop. As you can see from where we last left off, we did the treatment of the base. The Sho Sugiban, I believe, is the method.
I love that name.
And we have, since then, I've started all the framework on it. We have everything on 16-inch centers. We got 3/4-inch decking on it. I've got all the lumber to finish every bit of the framework before this weekend. This weekend I plan on, weekend's only 3 days away, I plan on completely enclosing it with the paneling.
Yep.
And then
we're gonna do some windows.
we're gonna do some windows. We're gonna do the exhaust fan on it, just like we mentioned before with the chicken coop.
Just like on the chicken coop, there'll be a window on this wall and then a window on the back wall opposite of it, right?
Correct, yep.
Then our doors down here, and we've corrected the problem from the chicken coop where we had the door and then the 90. So this one's gonna be a door and then straight through to the door. So
And I haven't got a lot of filming on this for y'all as far as me building it, simply because we're starting to get so hot here. I've been doing a lot of the building on this at night. Like this evening, I'll come in and actually finish up all the framework on this.
we're gonna have to really adjust how we're filming some stuff because the camera will overheat. When it's 100 degrees out here. We'll battle that all summer long, but we'll get y'all in there.
So we would actually want to touch base with y'all too. Like I said, we were mentioning we're going to grow a lot of our own poultry food this year. And we've actually had a really bumper crop of sunflowers this year.
We have.
So we're going to get y'all and probably close the video out there.
Let's go.
Alrighty folks, we got y'all out here to our sunflower patch, and I have to say this is probably our best year ever. You know, we went from almost a catastrophic failure on our corn to having a really bumper crop of sunflowers.
The sunflowers are doing amazing, and when we bought our homestead, sunflowers was probably the first thing we ever planted. That first spring, we threw some sunflower seeds out along the fence. Actually, the fence that's no longer really here anymore by the garden where it's currently at. And that was the first thing that grew on the homestead was sunflowers. And every year since then, we've kind of expanded on them, but we really like these. They're mammoth.
They're mammoth sunflowers.
Mammoth sunflowers, and as you can tell,
they're doing quite well. There's some really big heads back there in the back,
yeah,
too.
they're definitely mammoth. I love the way they look. They're great for the pollinators. This year, we planted them in like a U shape at the end of our garden. And we did that for a purpose, right?
Right, yeah. So as we mentioned before, the summertime heat is starting to encroach upon us, and we're starting to see days we're going to be in the 100-degree temperatures well before July ever gets here.
Oh, yeah.
But our watermelons are not going to be ready yet. Matter of fact, we pulled one and harvested it earlier, and it was just not quite ready yet. It needs another few weeks. So, but we planned that out for the sunflowers. After they mature, we're going to leave the stalks with the leaves here, and the stalks are actually going to protect our watermelon patch in the afternoon hours where the direct afternoon sunlight's bearing down on them, cooking them.
Protect them a little bit, give them a little bit of relief from that really high heat. And all of this is irrigated, so they're really enjoying this.
Yes, every year we found this little tips and tricks on how to control irrigation, what fertilizers we need to put down. I think Amber's going to link a picture from where she was standing in the sunflowers back in 2016 versus now, and you'll be able to see a drastic difference.
You'll see like what we have going on now versus what we had the first year that we bought the homestead. So maybe that'll inspire you guys that it's not all going to start like this. This has taken years for us to, slowly, gradually build up to this. And it's all part of the...
And we encourage you, no matter how small or how big of an operation you have access or can get a hold of or manage, we know people that have actually grown sprouts in the cup holders of their car.
Yep.
And they'll go out at lunchtime at work and literally eat the sprouts.
Yeah.
We've known them to grow 5-gallon buckets of potatoes in their living room or just off their front porch.
They have a nice sunny window in their like kitchen area, and they have potatoes growing in there because they have too many pests outside and they wanted to grow something themselves, so they brought a little bit of it inside to harvest. And again, potatoes are one of those things that Everybody should grow.
Work on ways to become self-sufficient. Quit depending on the system. You know, the grocery store is, I view it as really not being dependable at all.
Nope.
So,
little ways to become ungovernable.
yep. So, folks, if y'all like our videos, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If y'all have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Either me or her will make it a point to get back with one of y'all or any of y'all. So, in the meantime, if y'all wouldn't mind, share our content as well.
And we will see you next time.
Now, see y'all next week.